Hello, everybody. 3 minutes to go. Anybody out there in Facebook land? I find myself using social media more that I'm shut in now. On the Facebook a lot more. Sending out notes and messages and things. What are you guys doing while you're shut in? Anything fun and exciting? Oh, look who's here. The missus. 2 minutes. 2 minutes to go. Jody's checking in from Michigan. Hello, Cheryl. What's your favorite thing, everybody, to do while you're shut in? I sat at the pool today with my daughter. Hung out with the dogs. Went for a run. Did 200 push-ups. What did everybody else do? 2 minutes. 2 minute warning, wife. 2 minute warning. Gotta fix her hair. She's gotta look pretty. I just put a hat on. Dana went for a walk. Yeah, Netflix. Can't wait till Friday. I wonder if the Ozark season is going to be like, they're going to blast the whole season out, or are they going to do one at a time? Oh, Jody, come on, cut it out. You got to be crazy. What's the weather like in Michigan? Joe, I read your post that you sent me about your fitness. I have my doubts about your fitness, but I didn't want to post that. I do have my doubts about your fitness. But we'll get on the bike together one day and see how that rolls. 1 minute, everybody. 1 minute, and then we're going to be official. What do you got there? Seltzer water? What do you mean move? Grab your microphone. Snowing in Chicago. Holy moly. Well, it was 90 degrees today, so just saying. Can you hear me? No. I'm not plugged in either. Well, why do you have headphones on then? You don't need them. You don't need headphones. You're going to hear Anita through the computer. You're touching me. There's no touching. Well, you took the adapter, so you're going to have to go without headphones. 1 minute, everybody. 1 minute. We're going to get an update from the mayor on her calls and everything else. Did you guys all see her post about how she's setting the example of not going out? She's going to be like a hermit now in the house. Come on, wife. Got to start this show. All right. Well, you talk to her 9 fans while I connect you.
Hey, everybody. I know I got my hair down. I'm not sure I'm feeling this. Oh, now I can hear myself.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
10 seconds. Stand by. We're waiting for Anita. Are you ready for the spectacular intro?
I like to see what everybody's doing in their time off. Clean the garage. Nice.
Joe's never cleaned a garage in his life. Who's he kidding?
How do you know that?
This is Beach Talk Radio.
The message, I think, for spring breakers is that the party's over in Florida.
The spring break party is over. We need you to go home. The behavior that's been going on related to spring break has absolutely violated everything that everybody else is trying to do with social distancing, and it's unacceptable.
Beachfront is closed to commercial enterprise. It is closed to recreational enterprise. It is closed to your personal enjoyment until further notice.
Some will look and say, well, maybe we've gone a little bit too far. When you're dealing with an emerging infectious diseases outbreak, you are always behind where you think you are if you think that today reflects where you really are. It isn't an overreaction. It's a reaction that we feel is commensurate, which is actually going on in reality. In states with evidence of community transmission, bars, restaurants, food courts, gyms, and other indoor and outdoor venues where groups of people congregate should be closed. When we're finished with the virus, we will win. We will win. And when that victory takes place, our economy is going to go through the roof. But we have to knock out this enemy. This is a really tough enemy, but we have to knock out all of us. That's all of us. We have to knock out this, and we will have an economy. I actually think we'll have an economy like we've never had before.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square, you're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
Well, we're not broadcasting live from Peach Time Out. We're broadcasting live from a secret location somewhere in Gateway at our home
Secret location.
And we want to welcome everybody to another night of updates on what's going on. Why do you do that? Stop pushing me away. Today, Pete's Timeout was open for free breakfast, and they also had some takeout. But at the end of the day, they closed. Smoke and Oyster Brewery closed, and Silver Sands closed. And that's just the three that we know of. So it looks like eventually things are going to kind of shut down until everything clears up, and we don't know what that's going to be or when that's going to be, but we know that the expert on all things
going to kind of shut down until everything
clears up, Beach, the best mayor of all time. There she is, looking fabulous once again. And Mayor, welcome to the show. It's so nice to have you, and we'll save the special sauce for later, but right now,
you got your speaker, you got your special delivery, I'm guessing. Did you get your special delivery? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Now we got you.
Okay, good. I said, did you get your special delivery?
Yes. We're going to save that for the very end, but we know you were on calls all weekend. So what's the latest?
So the latest is, Ed, I texted you over. Everybody's been asking me why we're not doing what the Florida Keys are doing. And I had that discussion this morning with the mayors and Commissioner Sandelli. And, like I keep telling you, everything is on the table. I guess what I've been a little shocked by today, there's been the good and the I just can't believe this. So I'm not going to say bad, just the I can't believe this. So the good is people like Bill Freeman at the Smoke and Oyster, John Lalo, Pete's Time Out, Stacy at Shuckers was the first one out. Al Durrett at Fishtail Marina. Amy and Rick Lowry at Distinctive Beach Rentals. Gosh, I hope I just said their company right. Andrea at the Silver Sands Resort. There are people out in this community that are taking what I believe to be extremely important steps to not only protect their employees, but to protect the public and protect our residents and our visitors. And in the case of Amy and others, because I've talked to other people today who are trying, Pam and Fran Myers at the Red Coconut, I mean, they are actively trying to get people to recognize how important it is that everybody be in their own place. So today I was trying to think of something that I could have a visual with. Here's my metaphor of what I want people to imagine. Let's say that every family who lives here gets a resource box. And in that box, maybe there is some money. Maybe there's a cell phone or service. There's food. There's toilet paper. Each family has that box. Each person has that box. The taxpayers of this community, of Lee County, and all the people who are here visiting have that same box back where they live. Because those are the services that we as governments are responsible to deliver. But what we're being asked to do, and I know that this is harsh, but the please stay in place and please consider returning to your home so that we can deal with our impacts and you can deal with yours. It's just not going far enough. And the push that I've had in the last 24 hours is not just to close the bridge, to dismantle the bridge. So you've got your resource box. Who are you willing to share that with? Just asked a friend of mine, a single mom with a son. I said, who are you willing to share your resource box with? Because when you rent out the house next door to you next week, in the next week, she's got rentals coming up all the way through May. You know why? Because the Keys are closed, Miami-Dade and Broward County are closed, and where are those people going? We're still open. So I said, who are you willing to share that box with? You're going to share your resources with the people that you're renting your house, your rental property to? Because that's what we're going to be faced with. That is it in a nutshell. We have limited resources. We as individuals, we as a government, we as a community, we as a county, we as a state. And we're being asked to not only cover our own selves, but to cover the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are here, and even more, the ones that are calling to say, gosh, you know what? I think I'd rather be on Fort Myers Beach. Even though I can't go out on the beach, I'd rather be there because it's nice and sunny and it's warm.
Wow.
You know, I'm a sharer by nature. You guys need something? I send you spaghetti sauce. By
Yes, you
nature.
did.
That
Yes,
is
you
my
did.
that is my nature. But when I look at Fort Myers Beach as the community that I feel I have an enormous responsibility for, and when I say I, it's the collective I. It's we have an enormous responsibility for. I would urge people in this community, if you are the leader of a service organization, a hotel, a restaurant, if you have any ability to impact people's decisions to come to this town, to come to Lee County, to come here right now, do what you can to influence them to stay in place. Because if you tell them yes, get your box ready to dole out to them, because you're going to have to share what you've got with them. As the bottom line.
I am completely
sorry.
shocked.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I knew, you know what? I
I'm
thought all day
completely
about whether or
shocked.
not I was going to say this, but it's true.
I'm shocked that people are still willing to come down. I'm flummoxed.
Flummoxed?
Yes.
Well, I kind of like the way that word sounds. Honestly, Kim, I could probably show you 30 or 40 messages from people, several today, that don't appreciate my tone, who will never patronize my businesses again because I'm not being welcoming. You know what? This is not about my businesses. This is not about anyone's business at this point in time. This is about people's lives, pure and simple. And if somebody thinks that I have been rude by telling them to please stay in whatever place, and it actually happened to remember, you know, I keep saying this family, my fantasy family from Columbus, Ohio. This was a person from Columbus, Ohio, who said, I've patronized your businesses for 25 years and never again. I feel like I'm being mistreated. It took me so aback. It's like,
how would they feel if they came here and got sick? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that people are not willing to take a simple precaution and not drain on the resources that are at the beach.
So at the beach or on Sanibel, or, oh, take that down. We don't need to call people. Nathan, God love you. Nathan is we're talking about a fantastic photographer. Nathan does beautiful work, but baffling, much better, Nathan. Baffling, good. So the president just said, Carol says her renters have all canceled any new reservations. Bravo, Carol. Good for you. Good for you. Nathan, you don't have to apologize, honey. You're passionate. You're an artist. I get it. I understand. Listen, I've said worse today.
Mayor, I want to throw something in here because I have been watching TV as much as possible without going insane today. I mean, you can only pick up dog dew for so long or water the lawn so long, or I mean, so you're trying not to pay attention to it, so it drives you insane. But Governor DeSantis, I think he said he did not want to lock down the state. And I know you've been a big fan of the governor,
I still am. Sometimes,
I think most of the people believe that locking down is the best way to get this over with quickly. I was a little bit taken aback by the fact that he went out there and said maybe not, because there are, there's always going to be different communities in different states that don't have as many positives as New York or Italy or whatever. Right. Because we don't have any the amount of testing. You find that the more tests are done, the more positives you get. So were you disappointed that the governor didn't declare a lockdown?
I am not disappointed in the governor. I think the governor is trying to move and absorb just like we are, as much as he can, as quickly as he can. Last night, my prayer was that the governor would close down the beaches, the state. Let's close it down. Let's close down. Let's protect Floridians. Let's let the governor of Georgia protect the Georgians. Let's let the governor of Alabama protect the Alabama. That's what the whole system is designed for, right? But no, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in the governor because I can't imagine being in his shoes right now. I will say this, that I just feel certain that he is looking at every possible line, every possible resource. I truly believe he's doing the best he can. It's a lot to wrap your head around all at once. And that's why I feel like, if we all did our share, it'd be a heck of a lot easier for that governor to make his decisions because we'd all be taking our own responsibility.
Okay.
So the president just says, this is up to every single American, every individual person to stay at home, avoid unnecessary travel. To me, unnecessary travel means unless you're going to Walgreens because you've got to pick up a prescription, or you're taking spaghetti sauce to a friend because they either have no money or they have no ability to get anywhere for some food. Unless you're doing something like that, you've got, or you're going to write payroll checks to your employees so they can survive for another 2 weeks. Unless it is something like that, it's unnecessary. So you mentioned that you were disappointed in some people, even though, as we saw, John's got to close down at Pete's, and these people, they're trying to do the best they can now for their family and their business. The employees I was talking to employees after the show yesterday, all along Times Square, and they're basically week to week, paycheck to paycheck. They're trying to figure out how to do it. That's a whole different story. Most workers are. I'm sorry,
right. And we'll figure out how to help those. And you guys are doing that with the shirts and all that. But what you said that you were disappointed. You didn't call anybody out, but you said you were disappointed. No. Okay, why don't you close the bridge tomorrow morning at 9:00?
Well, here's the thing. I don't have the authority to do that. It's sort of like, how many calls I've gotten today that somebody set up a tent on the beach. There's somebody walking in front of the carousel. There's 2 people in front of this property. I mean, the residents of this island are policing the decisions we've made, which is good. But by the same token, we are just today, 2 days into this, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, whatever, wherever we are. The days are all running together. We're just getting compliance with the beach. What I believe we're also getting right now is compliance with, like you saw Carol pop up and say, she's canceled her reservations. She's canceled any future. People are starting to take that action on their own. I'm not ruling out closing off the bridge. I mean, I had a lady today who, like I said, she said, I don't want to just close it. I want you to dismantle the bridge. Okay, well, that was a little, but I understood where she was coming from. And, but right now, I mean, Fort Myers Beach we don't have our police force. We'd be completely dependent upon the sheriff to enforce that. And quite honestly, he is doing the best he can too.
Are you in favor of closing the bridge? Are you in favor of closing the bridge?
Here's what I'm going to tell you right now. I'm in favor of having as many people who are on this island right now return to their homes for their own good, because your resources are there. I mean that with all the appreciation and everything I can muster. I would also appreciate business leaders and individuals in this community who can help affect that, getting on that bandwagon. Carol wants to ask a question.
Carol, you can type it in the box and I will pop it up on the screen so Anita can see it. But I don't want to allow you to avoid the answer to the question. Do you want the bridge to be closed? Yes or no?
Yes, I do. Yes,
and
I do.
I think we agree with that.
I think at this, but here's why I hesitate to say this, and I'm going to quantify it. I also want to do everything I can to support Kevin Ruane on Sanibel, the folks on Boca Grande, Joe Coviello as the leader of Cape Coral, Peter Simmons in Bonita Springs, Bill Ribble in Estero, Randy Henderson in Fort Myers, and our district commissioner Ray Sandelli, Brian Hammond, who's the chairman of the county commission. I am proud to be part of that team. I'm very proud to be part of that team. And I don't want to take a step that they are not in sync with. But believe me, this morning I said that to them.
If you said to them, hey, we need your help here. We have a lot of people that are closing down, but we also have people that aren't following, and I'm not going to call them out. If I say out loud, I'd like the bridge to be closed, would you support us? Every single one of those people that you mentioned would no doubt support you 100%. Do you not doubt? Do you not believe that?
No, I do believe that. I do believe that. I just believe that we have we talk at least once a day, and we are all trying to do what we can to be a team, because it's not just Fort Myers Beach. Look, let's just say this. So Fort Myers Beach closes. Where does everybody go? Sanibel's still open. Bonita Springs is still open. All we're doing, I'd love to use an expression that my father used right now, but I'll just say it's blank shifting, where you're taking stuff from here and moving it here. You're not doing anything, right? You're not really doing anything.
That's not your problem.
Yes, it is. Well, you know what? I don't look at it that way, Ed.
But your main responsibility, right, as you've always said, as Fort Myers Beach, and then maybe they'll follow your leadership and say, hey, you're not coming to Sanibel either.
Well,
because if people think there aren't positive cases in Fort Myers Beach, one or the other, they're crazy. I mean, there's positive cases everywhere. New York City is going berserk with these positive cases every day. So I don't want to rant, but Carol has a question on the screen if you want to.
But Carol, I'm going to get to you. But I just want to be very clear about something. I see. In other words, do we want snowbirds to leave? The town council hasn't met to discuss this. I am probably out of line saying what I just said, but you asked me how I felt, and I told you. But here's the thing. I am part of a team, and my team is not just We Are FMB, but it is We Are Lee. We're a county of united elected officials. Rare. I watched that video you sent. Good Lord, what a mess. That's not what's happening in Lee County. What's happening in Lee County is every single mayor, every single county commissioner, we're speaking with one voice, and I'm going to continue to speak with that voice, because I know that what I do is going to impact them. What they do is impacting us, and we're acting collectively. So if there is a decision to close the Fort Myers Beach Bridge, believe me, it will be a decision that is that's much further reaching than just the Fort Myers Beach Bridge.
Anita,
let me ask. And so if the bridge were to be
Ed
closed,
doesn't like that answer. Yeah.
well, that's all right.
No,
That's all right.
I do. I totally do.
If the bridge were to be closed, it would be closed to people who do not live there. So
Correct.
people who
Correct.
do live there would still be able to come and go
That's
as
correct.
they need to
That's
get
correct.
supplies.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. What it is taking the stay in place to an extreme.
Mhm.
Here, you live here, you own property here, you work here, you have a business here. These are the people that resource box I said, those are the people that have a resource box that's stamped FMB.
Right.
Those are the people that have that box. We know that they can be taken care of. What we don't know is that if there are, 300 people at a hotel right now, their box says Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. They've got all their boxes, but they're going to use ours.
Right.
The hotels on Fort Myers Beach need to close, right, Anita?
Man, let me tell you what Sanibel has done. We haven't done
Here
this
you
yet.
go again. Here you
No,
go
no,
again.
no,
Just
no,
ask
no.
a direct question. You tell me how you feel.
I think that anybody who does not live, work, or own property on Fort Myers Beach, and I'm going to include also our winter residents who we're used to, whether they rent a condo at Bay Beach for 6 months. I'm including them in our resource package. I think if you aren't one of those people, you are you're in the wrong place. You should be in your place. And just because it's warm and sunny and you've got a pool and you're comfortable here, the president just said it. This isn't just me. The governors are saying this. I mean, look what's happening right now in New York and California. This isn't vacation time anymore. I said to you yesterday, Fort Myers Beach is the most inclusive community that I've ever been in. People from all walks of life, people everywhere. And we don't want that to change. But what we can't do is have it right now. That's just, oh boy, it's going to be a bad email night for me today.
She keeps grabbing my microphone because she doesn't like when I.
That's okay. That's all right. You're not doing anything nobody else has done today. The questions are, why haven't you shut down the hotels? So I asked Roger that. We don't govern. Oh, poor Stella. Come here, honey. She's looking at me like, why are you so upset?
I know. I'm making her upset. I apologize. Apologize to Stella for me, please. I love Stella. Right. But it has nothing really. Anita, it really has nothing to do with you. The pressure has got to be great.
Oh no, I know.
My point is overall that if everybody has been saying that the only way to squash this thing is if everybody hunkers in place, then let's hunker in place for the minimal amount of time make it a minimal amount of time.
But I think what they're seeing at the beach is just saying that to people is not enough. They're not making the responsible decision.
People are still accepting reservations.
Yeah, they're not making the responsible decision.
Two VRBO, Airbnb, whatever properties that changed today. Two of them.
The problem is, Anita, that you're too nice, though. You're not calling them out, or somebody's not calling them out. You can't do that. You have to stop doing that. I mean, you can't. And those people,
there's a certain level of personal responsibility that these people need to take as adults.
Some people don't have personal responsibility.
Clearly.
Well, look, let's take our time. We don't want to be angry. This isn't about being mad or whatever. You've asked me a very direct question, and I'm telling you the pressure I'm getting today. I'm sharing with you what it's like to be in my head right now, which is, and I've talked to the town manager several times today. I think he sees my number pop up now and he goes, what? But I've talked to the fire chief several times today. I have charged my phone 4 times. So it has been a constant conversation with people who are over here saying, I have shut down everything because from my best understanding, that's what I'm supposed to do. Am I right? My answer is yes. Then somebody calls me to say, are you going to close the bridge? Because we've got new reservations coming in. Now, what I say to that person is, why do you have new reservations coming in? The beach is closed. Let's think of that not just metaphorically as the sand, but we should be closed to any more impact. So let me ask you this. How would you feel 2 weeks from now if your place of business, this is a reason I closed, one of the reasons, if I had heard that my famous fantasy couple from Columbus, Ohio, had returned to Ohio and had tested positive for COVID-19, God forbid, had complications and something horrible had happened to them. And the last place they were, or the place that they went to various times or whatever, was my place of business. Do you know how heavy that would weigh on me? And that's how I'm looking at this. How can I minimize this impact in as big a way as I possibly can? What can I do personally? And I am just asking everybody to ask themselves that question and do it. Here's the other thing. Why aren't you closing the bridge? Why aren't you closing the island? Everybody should be going home and staying in bed or staying in place. Stay in bed in place, whatever. And my answer to them is, if you believe that, then do it. So I've been preaching it and I decided, okay, I'm doing it. Today, I've not come into contact with a single human being. Any activity that's happened between me and the world has been transpired on my front porch with, I'm leaving a bag here, I'm doing that, somebody's picking, that's it. And it's a weird experience.
For those of you that are commenting in the comment box that say you're never coming back, or what if people never come back? Nobody believes that for a second. Fort Myers Beach is going to be bigger and better. Every community is going to be bigger and better. It has nothing to do with that. So you all can stick that, where the sun don't shine, because nobody believes that for a second. People will come back. It has nothing.
It has nothing to do with being ungrateful. It has nothing to do with that. Dear God in heaven, that is not it.
Nothing.
It is that. So again, that if you're visiting here, your resource box says Indiana. It doesn't say Florida. It doesn't say Fort Myers Beach. And it isn't that, that we want to harm people in any way. We just want to say, hey, take it. And you know what? Look, let's say the governor says everyone has to stay in place. And you have to stay in place as of right this minute. So if you're on Fort Myers Beach, this is where you're staying. But at the same time, we can't have more people coming here. Right. So I think probably the biggest push, the thing that I have focused most on today is, please don't bring us more. But we are getting more because the Keys closed and Miami closed and Fort Lauderdale closed. And that's a whole lot of people that still want to go someplace.
I want to go back to what you said before, that this isn't your decision, that you have a whole council. But the fact of the matter is that you've led this council to these decisions. They have, I'm speaking out of turn here, I know, they've watched you lead them. They've followed you. I know Rexanne had some reservations about it. I would doubt that she does right now because of the way how things have just gotten crazier and crazier. So I think that when you say that you're just one person of a council, yeah, that's true. But you're the mayor, and this council has followed your lead on that. And if you said right now that tomorrow you wanted to have an emergency meeting and say the bridge needs to be closed because these people are bringing this crap here, who knows that somebody from the Keys couldn't bring the virus with them and stayed in one of the hotels.
You should assume that. So today, part of the the updates that I've seen is the whole reason of telling you to stay in place is because you should be assuming that everyone you encounter has the virus. Just assume it, and then you're safe. Assume it.
Well,
So
Senator
you're absolutely right.
Senator Rand Paul, he
Mhm.
tested positive today. What do you think that means for the Senate?
I think it means a
You
lot
think he's
because
the
now you've
only
got everybody
senator?
who was ever in that gym. So Ed, count your blessings that the gyms are closed because it could have happened to you.
You're right. I mean, so extreme is the best. I am not a government overreach person, but for crying out loud, now let's get it over with. Now, just
Well,
dragging
at
it on.
both of our emergency meetings, you heard Vice Mayor Murphy say, "When you think you've gone too far, take another step." Talking, quoting Dr. Fauci. And what I worry about, what I lose sleep about right now is at what point do we have such a crisis here that we are impotent to react? And you hear New York City saying that right now. Now, granted, they have such a congestion of people, far more than we have, but they also have a lot more resources than we have. And, I'm sure that they are also dealing with a lot of visitors, a lot of people who are coming there. It's just that Southwest Florida is unique in, not necessarily unique, but the impact to us during this time. If this was August, this whole story would be different because we wouldn't be, the few people that were coming to visit us would be easy to manage. But if you remember, early or middle of last week, we were talking about Miami and Fort Lauderdale closing their beach, and what does that mean to us? What it meant to Collier County and Lee County, Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, Bonita Springs, all the beach communities, was that we had an uptick because those people needed a place to go. Now you've got the entire Monroe County. Monroe County has closed hotels, RV parks, marinas, campsites. They've closed basically anything that caters to their visitors. And I would encourage, if I could, for people not just to shift from one locale to another.
Anita, a couple of things I want to say. First thing I want to say, while everybody's watching,
I have a headache.
We always have a big audience when you're on, that I want to make sure that I say that Roger Hernstedt has been doing an awesome job for Fort Myers Beach. And I have given him grief on Facebook and all the whole thing for whatever. But I just want to make sure that
you know what?
Say that he's been doing an awesome job. I
don't think he's a grudge carrier. I don't think he's a grudge holder.
No, I don't think he cares what I don't think he cares what I think, but people that are watching know that I've given him grief. So I want them to know that.
Oh heck, I've given him grief. I mean,
when you do a great job, you should be called out for it. And he's
I agree.
under the kind of stressful circumstances, that's when somebody earns that big salary, when they are able to be calm, cool, and collected and make sure that the community is taken care of. And he has.
I agree.
But my point is, the next point that I wanted to make was 1995 was a big year for Fort Myers Beach, right? When they got incorporated.
I know where this is going. Yep.
And this will dwarf that in comparison. So 20 years from now, when everything is Margaritaville is built and everything is nice and there's 6 lanes of traffic coming over the bridge or whatever the hell's going on.
Ed.
My point is, you want to be remembered for making the right choice on this particular episode. And
hey, that's not lost on me, Ed. Believe me.
Wait a second. Do you believe that you'll be questioned if you don't close the bridge now?
I think I'm going to be questioned, and I think we will all be questioned no matter what we do. No matter what we do. I'm not worried about public opinion or political expediency or anything other than doing what, in my estimation, is the morally right thing to do, which is to protect as many people as I can, when I say as we can, Protect as many people as we can, whether they like it or not, whether they threaten never to come back, whether they tell me that they'll never shop another day in my stores, or they'll never buy a burger at Pete's, or they'll never. I think that those comments are reacting out of anger, fear, whatever, and I'm not going to take it personally, because I think that at some point, just around the corner, somebody's going to say, "Whew, thank goodness. Thank goodness. I'm much better. I'm much better back here. My resources are better. My family's around me." I mean, look, think about this. You're here. You get the virus. It expands, and you end up in the hospital. Nobody can come see you. Nobody can help you other than the medical professionals. You're on your own. You're on your own in there. And what does that do to your wife and children who are at home that have no idea what's happening with you? That may be a little bit of stretch. So, health people don't say, well, the nurses keep them up to date or whatever. I just think that people need to factor this out a little bit. Where would you like to be? If something happens to you, and let's look at worst case scenarios right now. If you were sick, where would you rather be? Not if you just want to pass a month. If you just want to pass a month, I get it. Heck, I'd want to be here too if I was someplace else. It's beautiful. It was a beautiful day out. I get that. But if the worst case scenario were to happen to you, where do you want to be? Who do you want to be with?
As far as historical perspective, you can make the best decision with the information that you have in that moment, and hindsight's always going to be 2020. Mm-hmm. So, so far with the information that you've had and the decisions that you're making, there's tons of support for you. It's a fluid situation. At any moment, some of these decisions could be changed.
That's correct.
And you can only do what you feel with intelligent and in your heart that is the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. And, people just need to take a breath and consider what they need to do, because, it sounds to me, I'm just still reeling from the fact that people are considering coming down here. Mm-hmm. And so if people
not a good reel, is it?
No. And if people aren't taking that personal responsibility to make that decision in their best interest and the best interest of the people at Fort Myers Beach and the people that they love and care about, then someone else is going to have to do it. And unfortunately or fortunately that falls with you, and the council.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't, I want everybody to know that, that this is on my mind, that it's on the minds of probably every elected official forget about Lee County, in the state of Florida, where everyone is trying to figure out how do we best deal with this. And we're not alone in that bag. The difference between Fort Myers Beach and Lee County, as I see it right now, is the wave that's coming up from the Keys and over from the east. Those people aren't going to Ocala. God bless Ocala, it's a beautiful place, but they're not saying, "Whoa, gosh, we can't be in the Keys. Let's go to horse country." That's not what they're saying. They're saying, "Oh, Fort Myers Beach, they've closed the beach, yeah, but can I still rent a house with a pool? Can I still stay in a beautiful hotel?" And right now, the answer to that question is yes. And with everything I know right now, I want to tell you that the answer should be no. The answer should be, I'm sorry. We are in a global pandemic. So if nothing else, let's look at 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out. 2 weeks. Let's not take any new reservations. Let's not try to find the gray areas of, okay, this is the rule, but what could I really do? it is black and white. This is a yes or no thing. It's not a, in 2 weeks from now, the end of this week, what were 11 cases will be hundreds of cases in all likelihood. In all likelihood, if our numbers track like everybody else's numbers are going to track, because it's a rhythm that isn't shifting. And what do we do? I mean, believe me, I'm not doubting the people who are in charge of taking care of you and me should something happen to us. I know that they will. I know that they will do their best. All we're trying to do is minimize that impact to the best of our abilities. And the best way that we can minimize that impact is to ask our visitors to please wait to come and visit Fort Myers Beach. Wait, just wait. Stay where you are and wait. And when this ends, come back. I mean, I talked to one business person last night who says, I want to throw a big concert so that we can raise some money for all the employees that are displaced. It's a beautiful idea, but we can't do it right now. Let's do it when things are back open, when people can actually gather. Because right now, any gathering, I mean, when an 80-year-old cancels a birthday party, I mean, there are people that are taking it that serious.
Once this thing passes, the community is going to go bonkers trying to help everybody else. Like it's going to be like New Year's Eve every single night of the week. Everybody just wants to get out of their house and help each other out. That's just the way people are. They rally around other people at the right time.
I agree.
And they will. But the fact that not everybody's paying attention, not everybody's following the rules means that you guys are going to have to clamp down. And so I hate to keep circling back to this, but for some crazy reason, I think that closing the bridges, I hear you guys in the chat box. I know there's not just one bridge. I understand there's a bridge on the other side of the island. I get it.
You could close both bridges. We do in hurricanes.
What's it going to take? What's it going to take to get
I don't know what it's going to take to get there, Ed. It's not happening today. But I'm going to tell you, much like last week was, when are you going to close the bridge? When are you going to close the beach? When are you going to close the beach? When are you going to close the beach? And I said, everything's on the table. Everything is still on the table. Period. Everything is still on the table. People have just got to make the best decisions that they can make for themselves. And hopefully people who have Airbnbs, VRBOs, Tom, Dick, and Harry rentals, ABC, whatever, I am praying that they will tell their upcoming guests, I'm sorry, but this is not a time for you to be coming to Fort Myers Beach. Let's rebook you for August 15th. Let's rebook you for next year. Let's rebook you for Labor Day or Memorial Day or whatever. Just not now. Not now.
After the show yesterday in Times Square, and I took a picture of Times Square, a long shot, knowing that you'll never ever get a picture of that again, because that's an area that's always bubbling with business and happy people and street performers, and this is such a temporary thing. And then I went over behind the building to try and get a picture of the beach. I wanted to see if anybody was out on the beach, and so I went behind what's the name of the restaurant that the parking lot, the big parking lot there that people were turning around to buy Joe Orlandini's spot. Joe Richard's spot there. Anyway, so, and I went to take a step on the sand. There were 3 people sitting, eating. They were 6 feet apart eating, and they all knew each other. And I went to take a step out onto the sand, and they looked at me and said, "Don't do it." So that the locals are there. And as people were coming by me, the guy in the Zamboni, I told you that last night, everybody was just like, we know what's going to happen. Let's just get it over with. Let's get it over with. That's all. Most people feel that way. The sooner, the better. So,
I don't disagree with you, Ed. I don't disagree with you. But if people could just take a little breath for a minute, because so while I'm sitting here, I'm getting all kinds of text messages. Beverly Milligan, who owns the Myerside Resort, says that they are shut down. They're just trying to help their existing guests get home. Bravo, Beverly. I know that. Look, if I have answered 100 phone calls or emails in the last day, just today, I would tell you that 98 of them want our community to be essentially closed to our residents and business owners and property owners and long-term, I'm going to call them snowbirds. That's pretty much the parameter. They, as much as they all love, I mean, look, when you've got people whose entire livelihood is short-term rentals or that's the other thing the Keys eliminated, and any short-term rentals of so when those people are taking these steps, I think everyone needs to be looking at taking those steps. And I want to
pop some question up there because
what about restaurants who are still trying to survive with takeout? Would you close the bridge and not allow people to come over and support those businesses? There's plenty of people on this island who can, and you know what? And we're not going to be able to erase all the people who are here. And in fact, if the governor says stay in place as of 6 p.m., wherever you are, that's where you are for the next 2 weeks.
And that's
what happens, right? But no, the restaurants who are trying to stay in business to help their employees or whatever, I think that's fantastic. Do I want people day tripping here from? I'm going to pick Cape Coral because I love the Cape Coral mayor. He's a great leader. Well, I love them all. They're all extraordinary gentlemen. But do I want Miss Mayor Coviello's citizens to come to Fort Myers Beach to get a burger? No, I want them to get a burger in Cape Coral. It's just that simple. I don't know, all this debate, this message, this plea is coming from the president, the senators. You heard Rick Scott today, the governor, loads of public officials. This isn't just about Fort Myers Beach.
Right.
So what are the majority of people saying? I'm curious because I can't see it.
The majority of people are saying that they want a shutdown. They want the majority of people. I popped up every once in a while that is off the beaten path. But the reality,
you mean it doesn't agree with you?
Anita, the reality of this time in our life right now is that not everybody is going to survive. And if you didn't prepare a rainy day kind of fund, if you were riding the wave of all the good times and you didn't put a little bit away, you're not going to survive. The company that I work for during the day might not survive. I had to blast somebody out on Friday. It wasn't a fun thing. He understood it, and I got a 10% pay cut, and that's just the reality of life. Not everybody is going to survive this, and you have to realize that not every business is going to be able to make it if they weren't prepared some way.
Ed, wait, how could anybody be prepared for this?
You have to be prepared for something.
Well, I'm going to give you an example as a small business owner.
Well, you can't be expecting that nothing is going to happen forever.
Well, of course not. I don't think anybody's expecting that. But in 100% solidarity with the business owners on Fort Myers Beach, and I don't care whether you're the Pink Shell, which is a huge business. I don't care, or you're a brand new place like Wave Vitality at Seagrave Plaza. One extreme to the other. Whether you're the big guy or the tiny little girl, the month of February, March, April is what you hang your entire year on. And more importantly, you have prepared your business to maximize your profits in that period of time. Now, you shut your business down. John Lalo was giving away breakfast today. I know that Jason and Jacinta at Mango Rita's have a freezer load of food, and I mean, they're businesses that are literally, they're ready, they're stocked. My stores, everybody, we're ready for season. Those bills have to be paid. So the whole prep thing and the whole, if you didn't sock away money, get rid of that argument, because nobody knew this was going to happen, and we're all going to do the best we can. And gosh darn it, I know this community well enough to know that every single one of us are going to help each other get through this and recover. But we couldn't have planned for this head. There's no way we could plan for it. The only thing we can do right now is pray we get through it.
No, I don't disagree with anything that you said. I'm just, my point is that you have to be prepared for something. You know, you're going to get some kind of government help. But you can't expect that.
Well, I don't know
along the way, and you're running a business, that's something whether it's this or a recession or something, whatever it is, you have to expect that something along the way. It might be like,
what's your real job? Extreme. Are you at like a CPA or something? What's your real job?
Hey, I ran a business. I that's why I'm saying that. I ran a business for 7 years.
Well,
and what happened? No,
I'm just saying. Cut people some slack.
Oh, for sure.
I agree with you. There's no way that anybody could have seen this coming. They couldn't have seen the magnitude of this coming. I mean, come on, we're the United States of America. This happens in third world countries. This happens in China. This doesn't happen to us, but it is happening to us. And we're late to the party.
No, my point is it's a challenge. That's all. That's the way I look at things. It's a challenge, and you just have to buck it up after it's all over with and be ready to fight for, your business and fight for, it's going to be a big challenge. That's all it is. Hey, I don't want a government handout, but this time maybe I do. You know what I'm saying? Because this is crazy extreme. This is crazy extreme. Nobody expected this. I mean, so
I think that. I think that we ought to kind of dial back. For sure, I need to dial back my emotion on this one. There isn't a visitor to this community that isn't valued by me and every other business person in this town. Every other waiter and waitress and cleaning person and housekeeper and bartender and shop owner, you are our lives, literally our lives. You help us support our employees. You're the fabric of our economy. So please recognize the bizarre irony and the discomfort it is when we ask you to please wait to come to see us. Okay. Please wait. It is the weirdest thing in the world to pitch, because it's so contra the way that we all feel. I know there are plenty of people who want to, what's the expression, make lemonade out of lemons.
Nope.
There is no lemonade to be made. It's black and white. We take the measures that we need to take. We protect as many people as we can protect, starting with ourselves. And we say a prayer, and we wait. And in that waiting place, you know what just made me think of this? A couple of weeks ago, the beach school asked me to come and read to the 5th grade class. And I read them one of my very favorite books, which is Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss.
Yes.
I told them, I said, this is a great book for you guys. It's a great book for somebody graduating from high school. It's a great book for a 58-year-old mayor. It's a great book. There's a lot of life lessons in there. And we right now are in the waiting place. And that's the worst of all the places, if you ask me. It tests your patience, your emotion, your convictions, your beliefs. It tests everything because you've just got to wait. And that's where we are. We're waiting. And as we wait, this story is going to unfold for us. And it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
Well, and I think your statement about, with the visitors coming down, it's not just to protect the people that are on the beach. It's to protect them as well.
Oh, for heaven's sake, that's all it is. I mean, that's absolutely.
It's to protect everybody. And
absolutely, Kim. 100%. It's like the whole rationale between I'm drawing a blank. It's not stay in. Shelter in place. The whole reason for that is to isolate you and Ed, me and Stella, Hank and Marge. Isolate that group, and then you can like encapsulate it so that it doesn't keep moving. So if in fact, let's say that I have the virus, at least I don't feel like I feel perfectly normal. But let's say that a week from now, I'm like, and the world's coming to an end. Aren't you going to be glad that I didn't hug you when I saw you, or that I said, just leave that on my porch and I didn't come out to chat with you for 15 minutes? You are going to be glad. Absolutely. Because as soon as you find out, oh, so-and-so's got this, let's look at Rand Paul. How many people you think Rand Paul has come into contact with in the last 2-3 weeks? How many people? It's a lot, even if it's only the fact that he was at the gym, and now everybody who was at that gym has to be looked at or tested or whatever. It's just, do you remember, you guys are somewhere around my age. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're not, maybe you are.
Oh, we are.
So when I was at school in Tallahassee, the AIDS epidemic broke, and it was early 80s where people really started going, ooh, what the hell is this? And the message then, again, from Dr. Fauci was, it isn't just who you've chosen to engage with. It's that you're engaging with everyone that person has engaged with, and everyone that the person who is engaged with has engaged with. And all of a sudden, like you've seen all these graphics that have been being posted on social media about how one person is 50, one person is... That's not science fiction. It's not science fiction. It's like, it's real. And we've got relatively recent history to show when there is something major afoot, how it happens. So I feel like today, maybe I shouldn't have come on, because I just feel like everything is just kind of right here.
Well, I think that this is a good time to, we've been going for a while. You've put out some information.
We don't want to give you a migraine. I don't want to give you a migraine.
But I also don't want to leave people thinking that, whoop, she's freaking out. Quite the contrary. The contrary. I'm just reiterating what I said for the whole week.
The comments in the chat box have been nothing but supportive. It's mostly, Ed, shut up. You made your point, blah, blah, blah. As I'm looking at my phone, the cases in Lee County went from 19 to 26 cases of confirmed. So, it's just going to keep going up and until there's a peak or whatever they call it. And then it's at that point, it'll go down. So, and we don't want to cause you agita either. So we appreciate you coming on.
You're not. And I apologize if I led you to believe that. I just am trying to every single day think of a new way today I'm just hearing about all these rentals that are taking place. I'm just trying to think of a new way to make people understand that the power is theirs. They have the opportunity to change the course every single person on this island, in this county, in this state, in this country has the power to change the course of this disease.
Just do your part.
And they should exercise that.
Just do your part. So will you be on with us tomorrow night, or you want a night off?
Absolutely not.
All right.
No, I couldn't. Yes. Yes,
Thank you.
I told you I would, and I definitely would.
And thank you for the sauce, by the way. That was very
we're looking
nice of
forward
you.
to that
Thank you.
tonight.
We're gonna dip into it right now.
Lalo said he was on the beach, and I said, well, where do Ed and Kim live? He says, oh God, way out in BFE, whatever. And I said, he says, I'll come by and get it. So, yeah,
well, thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
My apologies to people who are listening if they
No need to apologize. They all love you. Stop.
Oh, sure.
The honesty.
I'm going to start forwarding you some emails, but I just want them to know, what we're talking about and what the feelings are, and so that they can make the best decisions they can. I'm just trying to be as honest as I can about this.
Get some rest, please.
I will.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank
Have
you.
a good
We'll see
night.
you tomorrow night.
Bye. Mayor Anita Saracita, everybody. We thank you all for, and I apologize if I was pushy.
Out of
and
line.
I don't know. I felt like two things. Like the bridge has got to be closed. I just think the bridge has got to be closed. And I don't know who makes that call, but I mean, keep people out, keep people in. That's just the way to.
I just think it's
a quarantine. It's just a national quarantine. That's
I
the
think
way it
it's
has to be looked at.
unfortunate that people aren't just making that decision for themselves and then forcing
Right.
that on the rest of the community.
Right.
So,
And anyway, thank you all for
thank you so
listening
much.
and watching, and
Right
you guys have a great night, and we love you all, and thank you so much, and have a Nagila and Merry Christmas, and thank you.